Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Somehow or another, I have been moved to want to share with you a line from one of my favorite movies. It was called Pretty Woman. Many of you might be aware of that movie, maybe not, but the star, the female star in it, was Julia Roberts. And the scene that I'm thinking of was she was all gussied up, getting into an elevator with Richard Gere, her escort, and it was going to be a surprise date. She didn't know where she was going. And it turned out that she was actually going to be boarding a private jet to leave Los Angeles and go to San Francisco for an opera, for the first time she'd ever been to an opera. But she didn't know any of that. So she's getting onto this elevator, and she says just very shyly and just kind of onto the side to Richard Gere, she says, "If I forget to tell you later, I had a really good time." What a poignant line that is. If I forget to tell you later, I had a really good time. It is so much filled with intention, with gratitude, with knowing that all is well. I just think it's a wonderful way to live life. So I would encourage you to plant that line somewhere in your subconscious and let it out whenever it becomes convenient, whenever it becomes aware that is the right time to do it. That I have had a good time. Is this life not a good time? Absolutely. And I am grateful for it. I am grateful that today, later on this afternoon, actually right after our service, we are going to be hosting a party for one of the founders of our church, Lois Cowan, who is 91 years old and is going to be leaving the area to go move up with her daughter. And so I'm just very thrilled that we can do this, that we can honor this beautiful, beautiful woman. She was the choral director of Southwestern College for many years. And so I think some of her students are going to be here. And just a wonderful event to recognize this woman who gave and gave and gave. She literally helped establish this church, and then for years was our music director, never took a dime, and so it's going to be fun to have her with us later today. Our topic this morning is Beyond Words and Thoughts, and that's one of the books that our book study has been studying, written by Joel Goldsmith. And I thought it fit our theme for today, which is Release and Reveal. The theme for this month is Release and Reveal. And what are we releasing? We're releasing that monkey mind, those thoughts that continually chatter in our heads. And most of the time, and many of the times, they are repetitive. They tell us non-truths. They tell us things that we're not enough, that we give us doubts and fear and limitation. And so this month we're concentrating on letting that go back into the nothingness from which it came. And so therefore we can reveal what we have within us, which is this light, which is this love, which is this joy. And that's what we are here to do, is to give that to our whole surroundings, to everyone that is within us and around us. And I see that our wonderful folks are coming in now, so come on in. There's a table here, table there, so please welcome. Yeah, sit where you can. I hope we all know that God is all there is. God is the only thing that exists. Is that not true? Is there anything else but God? Come on in. It's fine. Is there anything else but love? Is there anything else but peace? This is the truth. This is the core essence and energy of what life is based on. That's what life is a total givingness of itself. And so we believe that all there is God. Pure and simple. And that includes what? Each and every one of us. We are all God in expression. We are God. That's it. I was privileged yesterday to go on and participate in a Zoom call for the Anton Conference, affiliated New Thought Network. It's our association of what our church is under, the umbrella that we're under. And they did a one-day retreat on Zoom, and it was really fabulous. And if you want, please, I encourage you to go onto their website, antn.org. And I don't know if the recordings are up yet, but the recordings will be up of all the different keynotes. And James Mellon was one of the first keynote speakers that spoke. He is the founding minister and spiritual leader of Global Truth Center Los Angeles. He talked about quantum physics, which can be kind of confusing. But one of the things that he said is that we are God. It's not blasphemy, it's the truth. We are God. And one of the things that he said that struck me, in our teaching, Ernest Holmes founded religious science. And Ernest Holmes is an amazing, intelligent man that brought together all sorts of different philosophies under the umbrella of religious science. And we've all been taught that there's a certain type of way that we pray. We call it affirmative prayer, and we call it treatment. And that it has 5 steps. God is everything. All that there is God. It's got love. It's perfect and whole, complete. Second step is, then that's what I am. In truth, if God is all there is, that's what I am. Third step is to declare what it is you want to have established in your experience, in your life. Fourth step is gratitude. Thank you, God. It's done now. And the 5th step is letting it go, releasing it. Well, James Mellon said, Ernest Holmes did not teach the 5-step treatment. Ernest Holmes taught 2 steps. God is, I am. Now go live your life. That correlates quite a bit with what Joel Goldsmith says as well, because Joel tells us that there's really no need for us to request, outline, ask God for anything. We think we have this personal life. There is nothing personal in the universe. We are all part of the wholeness and the completeness of God, and whatever we have need of is provided to us at perfect time and in perfect order. And so what it takes, though, is for us to go within our core self and find what this God self has to want to play through us that day through, that moment. Joel says, remember that this rising above the mind and words and thoughts does not eliminate the mind, words, or thoughts, but it does eliminate living by them. We do not live by words or thoughts, we live by grace. You must never forget that you are not living your life. It is God's life that is being lived. How does that make you feel? What do you think about when you recognize that I'm living the life of God? It's not my personal life. It is this life of God. I think it's important then that we go within and ask, what is it that this God self wants me to do this day? You see, there's no separation in life. There is one life, one wholeness. several years ago, and I think there's a couple people in this room that took this class that I gave from Reverend Diane Harmony called The 5 Gifts. One of the assignments in that 5 Gifts class was that we were to say 100 times, I surrender to the power and presence of God within me. We're surrendering that monkey mind. We're surrendering, we're letting go of all that chatter. And I'm surrendering to the power and presence of God within me. Well, Rita Harrington is a beautiful singer and composer of songs. And so she composed this song to help her do 100 times a day this mantra. I surrender to the power and the presence of God within me. I surrender to the power and the presence of God. I surrender to the power and the presence of God within me. I surrender to the power and the presence of God. That's what we call an affirmation. That's what we call a declaration. And they're great things to do to help our monkey mind get on the right track. Joel says, let me not trust in my mind. Let me relax in God. The Sabbath Moses commanded the Hebrews to observe was a period of rest forever. Labor for 6 days, yes, labor to know these principles. But after the 6 days of labor, you come to a place of Sabbath, which means that for the rest of our days you live by the grace of God. When you have attained a quietness and a confidence, you may be sure you have entered the Sabbath. Let my soul take over instead of my mind. I do not have to pray for anything. I already have hidden manna the world knows not of. The only truth I know is what is coming through today. As far as I am concerned, I am living in the period of unknowing, in which every day I go within to receive the manna for that day, to listen for thy voice. We are on earth for but one reason, of showing forth God's glory, not our own. How fabulous is that? That we are here to show forth the glory of the one life that is and of and as everything, and it is pristine, it is beautiful, it is really honestly beyond our comprehension, our recognition of it in this finite state. Life is being lived in the eternal now. So remember that God is spirit. That's the unseen realm. We see the effects. It's like when I talk to my 2-year-old granddaughter, when I try to explain what is God. And you can't see it. It's like the wind, but you can see the effects of what it does. We have this soul, this spirit within us that is unseen, but what it does through us is how we see God, how we experience God. So we go back to the fact that there's no worries, there's no concern. When I received the phone call this morning from the folks that were going to be setting up in the room today, and I was supposed to be here to give them the key to get in, and I wasn't here, and I received a phone call, and where are you? We need a key to get in. I said, oh, that's right. I said, no worries. And sure enough, there was somebody right here on the facility to give him a key to get in. But the more you practice going within and setting your intention to be established in this peace, in this love, in this joy, the easier it is not to get thrown off kilter when something comes up in life that we, quote, didn't expect. We also know that life is eternal. It never stops. It never ends. Granted, it appears to end, but look at the nature of things around us. There is a seed that is established in a mature plant. And yes, when that plant goes through its cycle, the leaves will drop off, it'll go down into the earth, and it will change appearance. But that doesn't mean that it's dead. It means that that appearance has just changed. That's what we do, the same thing. We are life eternal. We will never die. We were never born. This is what we're about, is being this life eternally. Life is not about form. Life is about consciousness. And consciousness is not just your thoughts. It is your soul, essence, and energy. We're told not to judge by appearances, and I have a little story to tell you about that. I actually got to have my granddaughter, says I take care of my granddaughter every day of the week. Well, now I have Fridays off, but I go down the hill to North Park to watch her Monday through Thursday. But I got to actually have Adeline up the hill in Alpine at my home a couple weeks ago now, and I had all these things planned we were going to do. It was going to be so much fun. We took some carrots down to the horses that are just down at the end of the road, fed the horses, and then we took some bread, and we were going to feed the ducks that are in the pond right across the way. And so we were walking up I guess I knocked on Kevin's door, and I said, Kevin, we're here to feed the ducks. He goes, okay, that's great. And he looked at what I had. I had some bread in my hand. He goes, oh, I don't know if they're going to eat that. He says, go down and open up that bin that's down there, and you'll get some scratch, he called it. And so put that down on the edge of the water, and they'll come for it. I said, okay, cool. So we go out there, we were doing that, and we find it, and we throw it down on the ground, and we sit down, and we're waiting, and we see, 2 or 3 little ducks out there, and they just don't seem real interested in it. I said, okay, well, whatever. So Kevin at this point walks up, and he goes, oh, well, you need some ducks here. And I said, well, what? He goes, well, those are just decoys. They sure fooled me. I said, what do you put those out there for? He goes, well, just to kind of let the other ducks know that there are some ducks here. Maybe they want to come. He said, actually, we've been gone for a couple weeks, and so we haven't been feeding them, so they're not used to coming. And so I thought, now that is a true example and lesson. Don't judge by appearances. Don't judge by what you're looking at on the surface, because that might not be the truth of what you're really wanting to see. What we want to see is what's inside, in that life, in that spirit, in that living form that is in the unseen realm. We need to remember to go within and to receive the nourishment, to be fed by this spirit within. That's what sustains us. That's what lets us go forth into the unknown, into those areas where this little ego self and small self might be afraid, might hold itself back. I don't know if this is enough, if I'm enough, if I can do this. When we recognize and go within and saying that I am enough, that I can release and let go of all of the quandaries, all of the things that hold me back, because I know there is something within me that can give me peace, that can give me confidence, that can let me step forth into the wholeness of what I am. We are living the life of God, now and evermore. Form may change. It's okay. You'll be ready for it. You'll be up for it, because there is within us this great and magnificent power. So I ask you today to do the due diligence of studying whatever it is, whatever path you're on, studying your principles so that they become second nature. And then every single day, go within. Allow yourself to be fed the manna of the Spirit that will give you that rest and that confidence to do what Spirit, what God, what love wants to do through you this day. And I know it'll be fabulous and fun and a joy for us all. Namaste. Love you.